Hi, Gina. Okay, so we've got Tina, we've got Jason Conanan. Jason, who's Jason? Not quite sure who Jason is. Okay, welcome everybody. It's good to have everyone here. I'm just going to be waiting for a few more attendees to join in on the call. Hi guys, we're just going to give everyone about 5 minutes to join in and then we're going to kick off. And I guess the others will join in later.
Okay.
Cool. We're expecting a mega storm in England tonight, like gigantuan. So we're all like holding, done the garden furniture. Oh.
How big is this storm going to be? What's going on with this storm?
It's huge.
Snowstorm.
Oh, it's massive. It's 90 miles an hour, 100 miles an hour. It's like outside is dead calm. 3 o'clock in the morning, it's going to go mental in Englandshire. So we're in amber. We're not in red zone. So we've been like tidying up all the garden furniture, the bins. The cars outside are all preparing. They're all like this. The cars are like, worried about the trees falling on them. It's a big event. Tonight all the roofing companies are like planning.
Their holidays. Their holidays.
Yeah, the holidays. They're like, ooh,
cashing in.
Like, all the memes are going around. All the builders, the roofers are like, it's pretty intense, and it's literally outside. It's so calm, literally the calm before the storm.
It's basically a classic British non-event.
I don't know. I'm feeling it's going to be an event and a half. I think it's.
Where are you based? Where are you based? Are you in the north?
No, I'm in Cambridge, down south. So I get.
Yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. If your window rattles this evening, I'll be surprised.
Whereabouts are you, Jason?
Just Margate, a bit further south. Near Dover.
Is that being affected south?
No, we're fine. We're fine.
Yeah,
it's literally British weather is like. I feel a bit embarrassed. I don't know who the rest of our audience is, but British weather were like, oh, it's going to be windy tonight. The BBC all over the BBC. It's going to be windy. It's windy.
Yeah, everyone's like panicking.
Yeah.
The whole I think Wales at the moment's having a bit of a brunt of it. Wales and Midlands.
Yeah, it's windy.
But it could be anything. It could turn, it could like divert down to Cambridge. Who knows? Oh, was that guy one year, Mr. Fisher? He said, no, someone told us there might be some bad winds. I don't think so. And then it was like the worst history of winds ever. Was it John Ketley as a weatherman?
It was Michael Fish in 1988, I think it was.
Michael Fish, that's it.
Michael Fish. And then was it Sevenoaks in Kent suddenly became Three Oaks because most of the trees got knocked down.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
this is if you've got a planning issue, you've got trees.
About to get into it. No worries, brother.
Nice.
No worries.
There you go.
Thank you. So welcome everyone, and thank you for joining. We're having a Web3 conversation with builders, creators, and experts in gaming, NFTs, and the Metaverse. And with that said, a couple of years ago, well, it's already a couple of years ago, we got struck by pandemic, and all of developments has happened within the period. And today we're joined by creators, leaders, experts, and the audience in general. And we're all here to take a deep dive into what we're going to be calling a new reality very soon. And with me here, I have Sam Joel, who's the founder of GiveTree.io, Christoph Cerulis, the co-founder of Terra Waste. He's also an NGO board member in sustainable development. We also have with me here Martin Kuprick, is the CEO of Beamport Analytics and the Akasha Metaverse. And we have Arash Farboud. Arash is the founder of Arash Motor Companies. And I also have here with me my team members, Dorja and Tino Bellow. And we're all here to share our insights and also present to you what we believe is going to be the next big thing in the space. And if we look back just very recently, we've had a lot of tech giants. If we're going to give names, Microsoft, they've been having some activities in the space, buying out gaming companies, the likes of Activision Blizzard. And not just that, we've had Bungie join Sony now, and a whole lot more things happening in the space. So we have people, in the audience who will be thinking, okay, is it just a bubble? Is it a game? What exactly is the metaverse? And we have people who've had exceptional, life-changing stories, and now, with that being able to change the world, with the leverage of the new technology called the metaverse as we know it. I'm just going to give a couple of, housekeeping guidelines for today's session. We're going to be having a whole lot of people in the audience joining us soon, and in respect to those who are already here now, we want to make sure it's a safe space, and we want to welcome everyone's questions and thoughts and ideas, but we have to go over the ground rules to keep it very safe and sane. So all the attendees will be muted upon entry, and all the questions should be asked in the chat function, and we will be presenting the questions to the speakers, and you will be answered. And each speaker is going to go on for about 15 minutes, and we're going to give room for questions. And with that, we're going to be having our first episode of Tech into the Pandemic, and we're really glad that we've had you to from different.
Was it me or was the sound gone?
Yeah, I thought as well. I think
Yeah,
it's not
yeah,
gone.
same.
I think he's been affected by the storm.
Winter is coming.
Winter is coming. I like it. What's that movie? What's that series?
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
That's it.
That's my English. That's my English.
Where are you based, Sam?
I'm in Sydney, South Cronulla.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely. I've only been to Australia once. Went to the other one, Melbourne.
If you ever come back, come to South Cronulla. You should look up South Cronulla on the Google Maps and just see the paradise that I live in. I'm in a boarding house, and it's basically like surrounded by properties that are worth like 4.7 million, 5 million. So I'm just here, just in a boarding house, like living the best life.
Can you use the pool? Can you borrow the pool down?
100 meters from the ocean, so it's we got the ocean pool there. It's pretty sweet. But it's good because it's better than Bondi and it's better than Manly and stuff, because it's got a train station that comes right to Cronulla, so you can just walk to the train, jump on the train, and in an hour you're in the CBD in the city. So Bondi and Manly don't have that.
South Corona. South Corolla. Where is it?
Cronulla, yeah. I'll type it. Hold on. Yeah, and I live in South Cronulla, which is the best part of Cronulla.
Nice. I'll look it up now. South Cronulla.
Good spot.
I loved it.
Spot.
I loved when I was in Australia. They're like, "Oh, there's terrible traffic," and I'm going, "That's traffic." And it's so funny.
They haven't been to London. They haven't been to London. They haven't been to London.
No, it's like there's 4 cars on the road. That's their version. Wow.
Yeah.
Bro, we had for.
Hey guys, how are you? This is Tina.
Hello,
Welcome,
Hey, Tina.
everyone. So it looks like Damalari got kicked out of the meeting. I'm trying to get him back in here, but why don't we get things kicked off while we wait for him to rejoin? We've got Doja, who is part of our team here at XposureNow. She's going to be moderating and making sure that everything runs properly. You probably saw her a little earlier while Dom was giving us some housekeeping items. I'm not sure how far he got through because I was having a little bit of a sound issue. I gave him, so this is how events go. I do this for a living, or have in the past, and I usually try to tell people that if it can go wrong, it will. Well, guess what? Here we are. If there's a storm brewing in Toronto where Damalare is, it's sunny and beautiful in California, and that's the way it goes around the world when you have these events. So I want to thank everyone for joining us today. And as you can see with the slide that is being shared, we've got a great set of speakers today, starting with Sam Joel, the founder of GiveTree, and then we're going to move to Christoph's Cerulis, the founder of Terra Waste, and then we're going to move to Martin Krupik, the Chief Executive Officer of Beamport Analytics, and then finishing off with Arash Farboud, the founder of Arash Motor Company. So there's tons of stuff you're going to hear today regarding Web3 and our conversation with builders, creators, and experts in gaming, NFTs, and the Metaverse. If you do have questions, as Damolari was saying, please put them in the chat, and any one of us, myself, Damolari, or Doja, will go ahead and take that question, pose it to the speaker at the moment when it's appropriate, or to somebody who's spoken in the past, and we'll try to get that in. So let's get moving with Sam. And hopefully, Sam, you are a presenter. It looks like you are. If you've got slides to share, we'd love to let you do that. And you can get going. I'm going to mute myself, and Sam, you can take it away. Doja, if you want, you can take down those slides now.
Okay. I don't have any slides, but I'm happy to just talk through everything and just explain. Yeah, so my story, I'm Sam. I'm the founder of GiveTree. So what is GiveTree? Well, in a nutshell, GiveTree is a virtual game world that's been developed and built in Unreal Engine, and it's built on top of an NFT marketplace, and that is a multi-chain NFT marketplace. And we're launching both of those products as the alpha version in April, after we do a crowdfunding campaign this month and next month through Australia's most successful crowdfunding platform, Virtual.com. So anyone who wants to become a shareholder in GiveTree will be able to, if you want to, within the next few weeks, which is really super exciting. So yesterday, GiveTree had an article published in The Australian, which is one of the major sort of news publications in Australia. And it was published in the tech section. And since then, we've been getting a lot of different types of DMs, but that's a separate story. So what's my story, and how did GiveTree start? So GiveTree started 3.5 years ago when I was in a very different position in my life. I was homeless, I was mentally ill, and I was very sick. I was struggling with addiction, and I was living in an internet cafe for about 10 months in Haymarket in Sydney. And during that time, I was pretty heavily reliant on charity support and that sort of thing. As you can sort of imagine, because when you don't have very much, you start to notice that there are gaps in the society that people, cracks that people can fall through, and you don't really see that until you're in that position yourself. So I sort of went from a 6-figure plus salary, living in Manly in my own 1-bedroom, looking out over the beach in the middle of Manly on the North Shore of Sydney, to homeless within the space of a few months after some things happened in my personal life with my family. Someone passed away, something bad happened after that, something bad happened after that, something bad happened after that. So that's generally what happens, is a series of unfortunate events starting with some type of trigger or causal event. That's usually how people end up in the position. So something interesting about that very, very quickly is the New South Wales government's solution to homelessness is 28 days in a hotel. And after that, you're on your own. So that's why I lived in an internet cafe for that time, because you only get 28 days in a hotel, then you can apply for social housing, but that takes 6 months. And then if you get in, it's not exactly the best environment. It's not exactly conducive to healing and health. It's not a good time. So there's another really great rule that or idea that the Australian government came up with, where they've got this thing called superannuation, where 10% of your income, you have to save it. So 10% of your income is forced savings, and you can't access it until you turn 60 years old. And the idea is that's your little retirement nest egg. Okay, so if you can imagine being in that internet cafe for 10 months, logging onto your net banking and seeing all of your money in your superannuation and not being allowed to touch it, and then finding out from the government that, oh, there is a way to touch it, emergency access, but there's a catch. You have to prove that it's an emergency, and then you can get those urgently needed emergency funds. And the only way to prove it to them is by being on welfare for 6 months. And then you are officially homeless, according to Centrelink. And you can access up to $10,000 as emergency funds. So I was homeless between August 2018 and June 2019, living in the internet cafe, accessed emergency access after 6 months on welfare in June, rented a room in North Bondi, Then I moved here to South Cronulla in February 2020. So I lived in North Bondi for about 8 months from June until February 2020. So June 2019 to February 2020, then I moved here to South Cronulla. Now that solved the shelter problem, but it didn't solve the mental health and the addiction and this sort of stuff. So at that point, I was drinking like 30 standard drinks a day. I was really struggling to adjust back to normal life. And in April 2020, I had a brain seizure from too much alcohol and died, nearly, sorry, not died, literally, nearly died, and went to hospital for a week. And then I got discharged, and I've been sober since then. So that's 22 months sober since I got discharged. That same week, we sort of started working with some of our first larger charities, you know, linking it back to XposureNow and what is the XposureNow story. So my story and XposureNow's story are kind of intertwined. That's why I've sort of spent a bit more time explaining that. So if you can imagine, XposureNow started as just a simple charity directory. It's not a very difficult concept to understand. It's like yellow pages for charity, okay? But then it sort of progressed as a product. It progressed to what would happen if you could donate money through the platform to those charities. Then it sort of progressed to, oh, what else can you donate? What if you could donate anything? What if you could volunteer? What if you could fundraise? What if you could do all these different things? So over the last 3.5 years, I've looked at over 30 different types of donations that charities use. I've worked with over 80, actually it's closer to over 100 now, charities across a whole different range of locations and causes and sizes. So small charities, medium charities, large charities, very large charities. And when I started to really get an understanding of how their business models worked, I guess for me, that was very confronting, because for a lot of them, they are really struggling to keep up with technology. So when I started looking late last year at the specific donation types of cryptocurrency and NFTs, non-fungible tokens, it was pretty clear to me, if you, and I'll just sort of say this as well. If you think about each type of donation as its own market, so if you look at volunteering, you're going to find a unique set of suppliers and products and services that will help you volunteer for a charity. Whereas if you look at workplace giving, you're going to find a completely different set of suppliers and products and services that will help you to conduct your workplace giving program effectively as a business. Whereas if you look at fundraising with traditional fiat currency, that's again going to have a completely separate and different set of suppliers and products and services servicing that market. So some are more competitive than others, and some are good for some charities and not so good for other charities, and vice versa, and all that sort of stuff. So you can imagine last year, for a second, when I started looking at cryptocurrency and NFTs as a market for charitable donations, I was pretty surprised to see that there's the lowest number of suppliers. Well, in a way, I wasn't surprised. But anyway, lowest number of suppliers, highest possible growth curve. No charities are adopting it. Within Australia, within the collective pool of charities that I was working with, okay, so I was working with at that time roughly 80 charities, and none of them had adopted crypto. So when you looked at the larger global market for crypto and NFTs, there were already examples of suppliers and products and services starting to emerge that were helping. So a good example would be the Giving Block, and we're an official partner of the Giving Block, by the way. But the Giving Block is a great example of an organization that helps charities to sort of receive cryptocurrency donations. And already this is starting to experience huge growth. So, you know, for me personally, I think really when I talk about like, why is this exciting? Why is this going to be really, really cool? Well, I would think about it like this. Charities, if we think about what an NFT is, like, and what the metaverse is, if we describe the metaverse, what is the metaverse? The metaverse, okay, so I should probably say this first. So what is the metaverse first? The metaverse, in my personal subjective opinion, is going to be very similar to YouTube. So YouTube's evolution was basically starting as this video sharing platform. And then now, if you fast forward to today, I think there's over 35 million different YouTube channels. And I think it's like 2% of those channels generate six-figure incomes for the owners of those channels. And obviously that was highly disruptive to the traditional sort of 5 free-to-air channels that we had here in Australia, where you'd have to, you know, I remember when I was a kid, I used to have to literally stand up, walk across the room, choose from 5 channels on a big square box TV. And that was the media that I was able to consume. Whereas now I can pick up my phone and I can jump onto YouTube for free, and I can choose from over 35 million different channels. So when we talk about the metaverse, as you know, this sort of thing, really what we're talking about is lots and lots and lots and lots of virtual game worlds, millions. There will be more metaverse worlds than there are YouTube channels. And that's exciting. And charities are not even considering that, at least the ones that I'm working with here in Australia. In most cases, they're not even considering that at this point. Some of them have even asked to be taken off the website that I've been working with for years because they're so afraid of bad PR associated with Web3. So that's where it's at for them. And just to give you another insight into their business models as well, just where they're at with their structure and processes, these organizations that we believe are solving the world's problems for us, and in a lot of cases they really are, and they're doing amazing, amazing work. But just to give you an insight into some of the challenges that they face with their legacy business models is, if you went to some charities right now with a free fundraising model and said, we want to help get you free resources and we're not going to charge you anything, and all you've got to do is agree to use our platform, a lot of charities would actually say no to you. And the reason they would say no is because they internally don't have the right structure and process. They've got maybe one community manager, and that one community manager is tasked with looking after already like 10 different fundraising platforms. And they already can't do that. They don't have capacity. They don't have enough time. So even if you're free, even if you're going to them and saying, we're going to do this for free for you and get you resource, there's a good chance a lot of them will still say no to you. And that's a fact. That's just how it is. So when you talk about the metaverse and charities coming into the metaverse and how that's going to look, if you talk about larger charities, really larger charities, they can't make quick decisions on setting up a cryptocurrency wallet because that is a huge change to how their business works. Some of the larger groups that we're working with, they're not even able to meet to discuss, to decide on exploring the possibility of a cryptocurrency wallet for another 6 months, because that's when the next board meeting is. So really, it's about understanding that when we talk about a non-fungible token, we're talking about the underlying technology. We're not talking about right-click save as JPEG. We're talking about the underlying technology. So a non-fungible token is using a smart contract, and a series of smart contracts creates a DAO. And a DAO has the potential to organize and distribute resources more effectively with a better governance structure than charities, which means that DAOs are going to start to challenge charities over the next 5 to 10 years to solve problems. Because in my personal opinion, this is where I'll wrap it up as well, but in my personal opinion, what people want when they donate to a charity is they want a solution to a problem that they care about, except the people who are donating for tax. That's a different thing. So just remove them from that comment. Okay, so people donate because they want a solution to a problem, and that charity is saying we're going to solve that problem. But I think what people are sick of in 2022 from politicians and everyone is people are kind of sick of being told, oh, we're going to solve this problem, and then nobody actually solves the problem. It's constantly this like temporary solution that's applied. It's not actually a permanent solution. There's no roadmap for a permanent solution. Let me explain. I'll give this really good example. A few months ago, I pitched at the Sydney Startup Hub, and it was the first ever social impact pitch night at a startup group called Fishburners, who's really famous here in Sydney. And I pitched how to solve Sydney's homelessness problem by 2030, 3 steps. Okay. We won people's choice. There were 100 people in the room, hundreds at home watching the live stream, and we won. And we won because people could see, oh, you can solve the problem permanently. And when I pointed out that the government's currently happy with their solution, the charities that are helping with homelessness, okay, so there's a first principle problem here in Sydney with homelessness. Okay, so you have to understand this point first. There's a first principle problem here in Sydney with homelessness. There are not enough rooms for the number of homeless people to live in. So somebody has to build those rooms. And after you've built those rooms, then you can debate the morality of donating to homeless people. But build the rooms, because nobody's building them. The government's not building them. The charities who help with homelessness are not building them, because if they do start to do that sort of thing, the government cuts their funding. And I know this because I've spoken to them and I've worked with them. So the general public thinks that the charities and the government are solving the problem, but They're not. So the government's not solving it. The charities aren't solving it. And the general public's not solving it. Everyone's just like, oh, it'll go away. And it doesn't go away because nobody's solving it because there's not enough rooms. It's very simple. Somebody's got to build the rooms. So I think that those sorts of projects are the types of projects that the GiveTree DAO, which will be a community-owned DAO, which gets a percentage of every single transaction on the platform and is then governed and voted on by the entire community. That's the sort of project you can bring to that DAO to fund and get done. And that's the sort of thing that people actually want. And by doing that,
Sorry, Sam.
yeah. Anyway, I think I'll leave it there, but it's exciting. There's a lot of excitement, obviously.
I didn't. I didn't want to interject you, Susan, because I see that you're already in your flow. But could you please describe what a DAO is briefly?
Okay. A DAO is, if you think about blockchain as the first technology, then you can think about cryptocurrency as an application that's built on top of the blockchain. You can think about NFTs as an application that's built on top of the blockchain. You can think about DAOs that's an application that's built on top of the blockchain. It's a decentralized autonomous organization. And all it's doing is it's got a group of people that's come together and they've said, gonna give this entity, this DAO, gonna give this entity some resources, gonna give it a little initial investment, and I'm going to get a governance token in return. I'm going to get some type of token in return. This token is going to enable me to make a vote on what this DAO is going to do, for example. Okay, so it comes down to what was the purpose of that DAO? What did this group of people set this DAO up for? Okay, so if they've set it up for impact, then obviously they're going to be voting on impact-related decisions, and they're going to be voting on what impact do they want the resources of this DAO to make, and how that DAO goes about spending those resources and distributing those resources and organizing those resources is based on how the smart contracts have been written, and it's based on how the governance of that DAO is managed and the voting system. Okay, so there's probably a whole bunch more time needed to really go in detail about DAOs, and there's probably some people on this call who can explain DAOs a little bit more simply than I have. But in my mind, what DAOs represent is a charity with no red tape at all. You've got a group of motivated people who are going to provide resources to an entity that's then going to apply and those resources to a solution to a problem. And that's going to happen very quickly because you don't need to wait 6 months for the next board meeting. You can just do it. And that's the exact same thing we see with cryptocurrency transactions when they remove the middleman of the bank. You don't need to wait days or weeks and get charged fees. You can just send it over. It's the same principle. It's faster and it's better and it's more efficient. And if it's organized properly, then it has the potential to start disrupting charities and start challenging them for the right to solve the problems, which is what people want. So if you talk about the underlying motivation globally of wanting to solve problems, I think it's there. I think it's pretty clear that that's there. There's an underlying motivation to solve problems. DAOs are an idea. They're a new idea on how we can potentially solve those problems more effectively. And I think that stems from a desire to want to solve problems and a frustration with how things currently work and a desire to change. And I think that's where that comes from. So anyway, I'll leave it there. Thank you. Very, very fun.
Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing, Sam. We do really appreciate your insights, and we've seen that you've come from a long way to bring this product to the marketplace and on the way. So if you don't mind me asking, up until today, how much traction do you have and to develop this project?
Yeah, so we've actually finished the first version of the Unreal Engine game. We finished the first version of the marketplace, and we are launching the alpha version in April. And we are launching in April because we would like to do a crowdfunding campaign this month and next month first, and give thousands of people the opportunity to own a part of Givetree legally, because Givetree is a registered company here in Australia, and I can share the company structure. I have shared the company structure and the DAO structure and the entire product structure with the blessing of our legal team in our Discord. So if anybody wants to see the Givetree organization structure, it is free for the world to see in our Discord. You are more than welcome to look. Just a bit of context for why you are not able to just launch as a DAO in Australia from day one is because DAOs are not a legal entity yet. They do not exist yet as in legal terms. So if you were to start a DAO, there would be no way for you to run a crowdfunding campaign and offer people shares in that company in that traditional way. There would be other ways that you could do it with cryptocurrency and with tokens, but from a legal standpoint, in Australia, there's no clear decision yet on what type of legal entity is a DAO. Anyway, I can go into that in way more detail another time, but that's probably not a conversation for now. So yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much, Sam. That was absolutely amazing. And thanks a lot for your share. We'll be coming back to you at the end of the session. We're going to be moving up to the next speaker now. And please, if you do have any questions for Sam, just make sure you drop them in the chat box, and we will get back to you when the time is right. So for now, we're going to be moving to Kristaps now. And Kristaps is part of the board member of an NGO in sustainable development, and he's also big in sustainability. And we at Exposure are big on sustainability and impact. So would like to hear from Kristaps how sustainability is going to play a role in the metaverse, and would like to hear his take about the metaverse and the blockchain, and what it really takes, what the value of an NFT is over the blockchain. So Kristaps, if you may, you could please get in now.
Yeah.
Would like to hear from you.
Yeah. Hi all. Yeah, I kind of all my life I'm in my base and core. I'm a product and brand designer. That's my core, and I would say that's my kind of baseline. But last decade, I kind of heavily was involved in many science-based startups. I help them kind of evolve and understand how they can attract more market attention and understand applications. And in that kind of path, I start to more and more get involved in sustainability questions, and to just from design perspective, understand what is circular economy, what is emissions, why does it matter, and what it is in kind of a very simplified way. And last 3-4 years, of course, everything related to blockchain for me was a kind of very intriguing idea, because the underlying idea is that this is most efficient technology out there, which could really help us not just share in between us information as it now we do, but in reality exchange value in between us in very transparent and very traceable way. And if of course we look on the real world, then it involves everything related to supply chains, everything related to how we basically move each of the products, and eventually where it is ending, where is the end life. So I will share a few slides just to kind of go through, and so you see it, yeah?
Absolutely, yeah, we do see it, brother.
Yeah, perfect. So, so yeah, I think that the first thing which we need to kind of understand is that we should just look around ourselves, and as already Sam mentioned, that if we look around ourselves, that we easily can start to see that everything around is in some way designed, intentionally good or intentionally bad. design out there, and if something isn't working, then I would say that the design is not fully completed and it's bad. And we should start to think about how to approach it better. So, and of course, if we look just on the underlying today's topics, NFTs, crypto, metaverse, blockchains are designed as well by someone who kind of in reality tried to get us to the better place. And but if we kind of look on the idea behind all of this, the question which for me is quite important, and I would encourage everyone to kind of ask yourself as well, can it be designed for everyone to thrive, not just for a few? And of course, there's all NFT communities or metaverse communities or blockchain movements. Everyone is kind of tried to be as much inclusive as possible. But in reality, I would say that the underlying problem now is that even the idea itself, the blockchain itself, is about that it's more efficient, it's transparent, it's kind of, we can exchange value in between us. The energy which we use and the sustainability question and all the impact on the environment, which really the technology itself basically deploying each day, each second, by each transaction, is quite enormous, kind of huge. And we basically are drowning in our kind of great idea. And if we look on a very simplified way, I would say that we can compare all this industry with all the good which we what we are doing, compare with the oil and gas industry. We're basically not better than them, because what we are doing now, we are still burning and we are still consuming a lot of energy, which basically are bad. And if we look just on the numbers, so to add your, to kind of give you a perspective, there's a one perfect research, and the research what shows, it shows that one single edition NFT, it's basically give the consume energy, what we consume with the one single edition is approximately, for me as a citizen of Europe, it's I can pay for 1 month. Or if we look on the average artist, it's almost 3 years for me would be. And if we look just on one marketplace, NFTs, it's about 2,000 years. So the amount which we burning and the emissions which we are generating are the very huge amount. So this is just to give a kind of perspective on where we are. And the big problem is that if we look on all the marketplaces, all the platforms, the problem is that no one really kind of talk about values. Yeah, we have these roadmaps, we have kind of mix of values, but in reality there is no values related to impact which we create as an industry itself. And of course, if we look on the white papers and everything related to documentation, in reality there's a real problem with transparency, and I would say from the side that we lack true transparency, and as example, in the same kind of case, he are willing to share everything around his company, but most of these initiatives are not. And if we look on the roadmaps and we look and review everything related to sustainability, then I would say that when the roadmap is saying that we hope that ET second will resolve the issue when it will be released in a year or two, or who knows when it will be, then I think that it's basically is saying that we don't think about, we basically ignore everything related to that. And of course, I would say that good thing to have that in smart contracts. I would say that one of the biggest and best things to have is in smart contracts to try to kind of already in the beginning adapt and try to put inside the mechanisms how we can, with our activities, fund everything related to sustainability and of course carbon credits and emissions. So what we can do now, I would say, and just few very simple solutions, if we are living in Ethereum, which we are using now, is one is the lazy minting. Then there's side chains which you can use, various layer 2 scaling optimizations, which basically can lead to almost 100% more efficient operations, and of course choose proof of stake networks. That would be a very simplified way how we can not just kill our nature around us, but in general thrive. So in kind of to wrap it up, I would say that if we look on the numbers and we understand that the future with this technology would be, and kind of in idea, is really bright for everyone, not just for few or for systems which are built to and designed to benefit few, but in reality to kind of give real impact to anyone. Yeah, that would be one thing which I could wish that let's try when we are thriving at the sense we are building NFTs, metaverses, and crypto. I would suggest that let's not forget that every action which with what we are doing is bringing some kind of impact on environment, on society as well, and as Sam's example, working hard to really give back and connect and basically kind of make broken system work again, then I would say that we should as an industry really think about impact which we give in the sense of sustainability, in the sense what is the energy consumption and everything related to that. So yeah, that would be maybe the kind of short part and few thoughts to think about.
All right.
From my side.
Yeah, thanks for that, Chair. I'm just going to ask this very important question because you made mention minting. So we know that the blockchain with the say highest amount of volume when it comes to NFTs and minting is the Ethereum blockchain. So where do we see the gas fees coming in to strike a balance? Because we're aware that the Ethereum blockchain utilizes gas, and then the minters have to use gas to support the transactions with the smart contract. So how do you see that? How do you see that striking the balance? Do you think we're doing enough with the gas fees, or do you think we should look rather to another blockchain, for example, Solana, which is doing a very good, which is also like bringing up the gas fees, but also still on the blockchain?
Yeah, if we look on the gas fees itself, then basically they don't any kind of they don't or raise impact on sustainability issues. It's money issue. We pay more, but if we look from the impact side on the environment, on energy consumption, then there's a small amount of impact. The problem itself is that system itself, Ethereum itself, and proof of work blockchain is so energy consuming in general, and each of transactions in general are so energy consuming that it's basically is almost as bad as oil companies, which are polluting our earth each day. So that's the problem. That's why I would say that in the best case scenario, of course, if you want to think more connected to the nature and be more kind of sustainable in your actions, you should choose chains which are proof of kind of more about not proof of work, but proof of stake. So that would be my answer. I hope that I answered your question.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Thanks. And do you think that sustainability is going to reduce or hamper the growth of a lot of projects currently? Because I know we're talking sometime, and you said you've had to pause a few projects just to make sure that you have everything tied down correctly in sustainability development side.
Yeah, I would say there will be projects which will be will just stop. And of course, it doesn't mean that the movement and development will stop. It will not, because human being is ignorant being in general. And we don't care about anything around if it's not touching us directly. That's the dark side of it. And it's related to everything around us, what kind of cars we use and all that kind of stuff. So I would say it will stop a few projects, or they will just start to think very carefully how to minimize the impact of on Earth and environment, how to choose solutions which is more sustainable, or could be in the future more sustainable. And of course, large amount of them will choose to use offsetting schemes. So you can see now there's many projects which kind of giving good. So you can as example have a real tree as well. If you buy an NFT, and many such of kind of initiatives. So offsetting is good, but it's still, if we compare with the oil industry, then I would say that it's similar. We have the same problem, and that's the ugly truth of humankind, which I hope that at some point will change. Maybe not too much far away, and we will have opportunity to save something.
Thank you so much. We have a few things coming up in the chat box. I would like to use this period to acknowledge Franco Dino. Franco is my investor and mentor, and he's this event, and he's going to be having a few events in access.io, and Frank's going to ask some questions soon. And we also see that Sam here has already expressed a lot of interest to Kristaps, and wants to learn more about the energy consumption of NFT activities. So Kristaps, would you want to share a few points on what it takes to mint just one NFT? Like, how much energy is that going to cost to mint an NFT before we move on to the next speaker?
So what I showed before, so basically to mint one NFT, you need approximately In energy, it would be approximately 340 kilowatt hours. So that is one NFT, and emissions is approximately 200 kilograms CO2 is emitted with one NFT mint. And each of any additional transactions only adding to that. So if you look on average artist activities and those projects which are releasing 10,000s of NFTs, it's quite astonishing numbers, which you basically are doing bad because not anyone, well, almost not anyone are thinking about that. So yeah.
All right. Thanks for sharing, Kristaps. And with that said, I do, I've been part of a few projects now, and also heard about a lot of projects that mint a whole lot of NFTs. And we're now aware that this is going to be costing so much energy, and we have to, really watch it, and we need to look for ways to make this technology more sustainable.
Can I
that,
interact a little bit, kind of in the
go ahead, please.
Yeah, I think that one is I think that what we should as an industry think, and maybe be more active part in development, because the problem is, if we look on the energy sector, that again we go back as Sam mentioned, to the governments. They not fund at the needed phase and speed projects which on reality already there, more sustainable, and give I would say much better and renewable energy, not only in the sun or wind or hydro kind of energy types, but in reality many different type of energies. And I think that industry itself could be the funding mechanism for such kind of activities. And in that way, I would say that maybe there's an opportunity in reality through DAO and any kind of community-based activities, find much faster and fund much faster these solutions, which governments just at this point are kind of very slowly moving forward, because the lobby of oil is quite still big. So nobody is acting in needed speed. So I would say one good thing would be that maybe we should take part of future technology development as well, not only on blockchain and NFT part, but in reality on the hardware and the energy solutions.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for sharing that, Kristaps. We do really appreciate your time. We don't have any more questions coming up in the chat forum, so we're going to be moving on to the next speaker now. But just before we do that, I'd like to do the honors and invite one of our attendees, in the person of Frank Dino, to shed some light about a project that he's currently working on right now. So with that said, it's going to take us, it's just going to be a minute, and we're going to make him a co-host, and he's going to share what he has before he moves to the final half of the meeting today.
Hello, can you hear me?
Absolutely, we can hear you, Franz.
Sorry, I can't share my video, but that's okay. I just wanted to take an opportunity and thank you for inviting me this evening. My name is Frank Audino. I am an angel investor. I happen to know Henry, that's why I came in here this evening. So I've been enjoying these presentations, but I want to just bring greetings on behalf of Angel Investors Ontario. We're 16 angel groups. That's where I met Henry. And we do about $75–80 million in startups a year. And then also on behalf of the National Angel Capital Organization. I'm blessed to volunteer with these organizations where we help startups raise capital. Of course, they also have an international reach. And I'd be happy, as I said to Henry, if any of you would like to reach out to me personally, Henry can make the intro, and I'd be happy to help you with raising capital. And of course, also make some business introductions to help grow your business. And of course, this is all volunteer. So I thank you for the opportunity, Henry, and I wish you a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much, Frank. It was really an honor to have you here and have you come share. We didn't time it, but absolutely, we've really appreciated that. And do have a great evening. And yes, please feel free to invite me to your upcoming events. Definitely going to be a part of that because you've already given me the honors for our first episode. And we also welcome you to join in on our other episodes to come. And you can also invite your people from your projects to be a part of that. For part of the upcoming episodes, and we'll gladly have you. And with that said, thanks so much, Frank. Do have a great evening, and I'll be connecting with you sooner or later. And bye now. Cheers. Okay, with that said, please let's welcome Martin Kubrick. Martin is the CEO and founder of Beamart Analytics and the Akasha Metaverse. So he's going to be sharing to us his story and his insights on the Metaverse, and we're going to be learning a whole lot from him. So with that said, can we please allow Martin come up to share? Can we please ping Martin up to the front screen so we can have Martin share?
Hello, good evening, everybody. I'm still transferring. I need 5 minutes literally to switch the computer on. So I would like to give the floor to someone else for this slot. I can just tell you that I'm really excited to be here. I've been carefully listening to the responsibilities regarding sustainability. Personally, I believe that Akasha graphic library will deliver more positive outcome towards the environment, outweighing the damage we cause by using the blockchain. Now, I'll resume in 10. I'll literally just switch the computer on. Thank you so much.
Okay. I didn't mention this quite earlier, but Martin right now is battling COVID, and he might not be able to share as much. But if you feel better during the course of this call, you can hit me up on the chat forum and can give you some audience. Given that, it looks like we might be having the meeting come to a close in less than 2 hours, so we might just be having 30 more minutes on this call. And with that said, we're going to be moving on to Arash Motor Company. So we're going to be moving on to Arash, and we're going to be learning a lot from Arash's space, his industry, how NFT crosses his industry, including gaming, and it's going to be a great time learning from Arash, because Arash is one of a kind, I bet you, and it's going to be an absolutely phenomenal time. And here we have Arash. Arash, could you please jump in right away?
Sure. Hello. It's a bit late here. We've got storms coming in England, and you have to forget all my pets are around me at the moment. So I've got cats running around, and there's cats. You want to start speaking? Cat appears. So, my name's Arash. I work at Arash Motor Company. It's a 22-year-old car company, and I also work in another industry, the medtech business. We bring lots of parts into our factories around the world for medtech, and I make a few cars a year, not many. So I'm really lucky with what I do, very blessed. So at the beginning of COVID time, we knew that it was going to be a tough ride for car sales and car manufacturing, although the medtech side was a bit tough as well. And we were sort of constantly being barraged on Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin and XRP, and trying to work out the ways of getting our products out to people and how to serve a lot more people and entertain. So we worked out that our revenues were quite high in the games world. We didn't really sort of work it out until the end of the year. It's like, how much did we sell in cars? How much did we sell in parts? How much did we sell in games? And games it's just increasing. So it wasn't really taken that seriously by us, because it was kind of, well, you know, to be a big hitter in the car industry, you've got to be selling a lot of amazing cars in a year, which we're seeing with Tesla. And the decline of other car companies, or you make very exclusive machines, but they do take an enormous amount of energy, and you're kind of barraging against this whole electrical world, against petrol. So it's a real troublesome time. So last year, around January, I alpha tested making our own currency for a bit of fun, and a lot of people bought them. And we said, well, stop this, because we don't really know what we're doing. And then the games world started picking up as well. We're selling more games of all our cars. So we're getting a lot more interaction with people saying, I really like your cars. I drove it yesterday. It's really cool. And then we had this whole thing about the Bitcoin, you know, being a bit confusing. So we just, for a bit of fun, made our own coin up. We called it Arash coin, just for fun. But it started to make a little bit more sense by the time it came to September, October, when blockchains were being a bit more understood on their benefits. And there were two things. It was, you can make money out of it, and then it became, it's a bit of a storage of wealth. And then Ethereum started making sense. You could attach something to that contract, like Sam and Chris Staps were saying. So it was really interesting for us to try and grow this whole idea of anybody being able to play with one of our products, our cars, anybody being able to have a currency that they could have some fun with and invest in so many ways. So we started developing this thing called the digital frontier. I didn't know what it was all about, but it was just kind of happening. So we were saying, well, we can do games, we can have experiences, you can buy stuff, you can make spaceships, you can do boats, you can make a tower. So we're doing all this around July, August. You know, we're sitting around the room. We had creatives, we had cryptocurrency guys, all youngsters, all young. I'm the oldest guy in the room, always. And they're going, well, we can't do that because someone else is making a universe. I'm like, really? Why is that? And, oh, can you put the cars in the games? You've got licenses already out there. Sure, I don't think we're exclusive with anybody. And who wants to buy a currency? And, you know, is it a currency? What is it? Token? So during this whole episode of really not knowing what we were doing, but we kind of had this inkling, we just kind of learned what to do. So it was kind of skin in the game. Let's learn about it. Also, I had to learn about blockchain protocols, L1s, L2s. I learned about Ethereum. I learned about peer-to-peer payments. I learned about how to program in these Solidity systems. And we started selling a lot of coins. You know, it's like, Arash is onto something here. I want to be part of it. And then we had this Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp downage. And Mark Zuckerberg said, we're going to call our thing Metaverse. So it was like, wow, have they got microphones in our boardroom? So the digital frontier was kind of pigeonholed Metaverse by the Zuckerberg team. So I love this movie called Tron. So there was a tower in Tron, the Encom Tower, and just for fun, I thought, you know, let's make a tower, it'd be fun. So I called it Aracom. And everything else around the city was going to be sort of futuristic and fun and exciting. So you can see on my webpage, I don't know if you can share that screen. I called it arash's.club. I made it as easy as I possibly could. You can see this metaverse, or Aracomverse, as we call it, because that's a bit of a Facebook Zuckerberg term. Our little universe where you can play with cars and go into an apartment, go to the city tower. We're trying to make it as photorealistic as possible. You can see on the first page, you've got Sahara, and you can see our latest electric hypercar. And then the gaming companies are speaking to me saying, can we be part of it? I'm going, sure, you already are part of it, but we can link portals between them. So the take-home message is, we're trying to give value to everybody who wants to be associated with us in two ways. One, entertainment, and two, some kind of financial benefit. So crowdfunding has always been, I give you something, but you may not get something back, or I give you something and we might restrict you on something. Or you could go through the other traditional paths of growing VC, shareholders, flotation, sales. That takes quite a lot of energy and effort, and not everyone's successful. So we thought, well, maybe this tokenization plus giving people something fun to play with, a virtual world, could work. So we did this thing you can see on arash's.club of AFX in this amazing wintry oasis, and it created a lot of imagination. So we decided to call our strapline Imagine. I try to keep as simple as possible so that anybody can get involved, any company can get involved, any metaverse, any organization can get involved absolutely freely using our own protocol, which we called QuantWave, which is all to do with light, the speed of light. So we made our own peer-to-peer payment, which Arash coin sits on for starters, and it's an ability to transmit or receive data, whether it's information, tokens, decentralized autonomous organization contracts, in a free version. So there's no gassing fees, no complexity, and it's using packets of data like the way light travels to initiate all of that. So it extended out more to, well, hang on, people are buying our apartments now, and people are buying our land now because they can relate to and understand it, and they want to express themselves. So as entertainment and giving value in different ways. We also found very recently that companies have an opportunity to advertise in our little universe, or Aracomverse as I call it. And we decided to just make a city, to make it really simple. We're going to do like planets and worlds, and it'd be too big and too complicated to start off with. So we made it like London's got Big Ben and the Millennium Wheel. That's your focus. It doesn't mean you're going to go into Big Ben, and not everyone's going to go around the wheel, but you will do at one point. But it's a visual representation of city. You've got the Burj Khalifa Tower in Dubai. We're not all going to go in there. You know, if you're really lucky, you get to have a bit of a drink and a restaurant meal at the top of it. It's not quite the top, but we all sort of focus towards it. You've got the Eiffel Tower. So I thought, let's make a really cool, fun, pivotal point, a tower that people can express themselves and by having some shops or experiences or cafes, just like in the normal world, they can start advertising and participating. And outside, we'd have cars. We'd have whatever car we'd legally be allowed to represent. Of course, we'd start with our cars because that's where we come from. And you can drive the cars, own it, be in a garage, which is very similar to what my kids play with, which is like Grand Theft Auto or Fortnite or Roblox or Minecraft. So that creativity plus the ability to earn is kind of being instilled in that younger generation that the adults probably haven't experienced as much. So this is an opportunity to allow that. That's great. Cheers. We're going to connect after this. So it's an ability for anybody to play, participate, earn, and work as well. So recently we've been getting sort of calls saying, well, can I work in Aracom Tower? It's like, yeah, sure you can, but how does it work? Well, you can just do 2 hours, you know, it doesn't mean you have to be up all the time. So for 2 hours, you can go in and be the person that works in reception or in the concierge or behind
customer services, or a cleaner. You know, it doesn't mean you're going to have to work there all the time. And in return, you get tokens or real money or something in return. It's kind of an employment in the digital world to help others enjoy it. It gets better. So if you want to sell a product, you have an advertising capability. So we go back to Google, Sergey, and I can't remember the other chap's name. Their initial rhetoric was speed, and do no evil. That was their thing, if you read their book. So it's all about simplicity. It's all about giving something quickly as an experience and exchanges, but also an ability to allow other companies, sorry, my cats are all over the place, to participate without any restriction. So how are we doing it? We're doing it through, like Sam's doing, and a few like Cornerstone and Epic Games' main platform. We're doing it through Unreal Engine. So Unreal Engine is the best platform I can find, and it's one of the guys in our design studio. He used to work for a large car company. He's working for multiple car companies, and he's done an AFX for us. And he also built a world for Ford. And they didn't want to use it for some reason, but he learned how to program the trees and the environments, the mountains and buildings. So he's kind of really into it all. And then I'm finding more people who like the idea of the ability for them to express themselves in their creativity, and other companies that want to be getting involved, that want to just basically commercially gain from it. So it's kind of like normal real life, but in an escapist world, if you want it to be. It gets better. You don't have to just have your VR goggles. You can use an iPhone or a tablet or a Mac to experience how you want to experience it. If you want a very immersive game or immersive experience, you put your VR goggles. So a guy last week was saying to me, Arash, I don't know how to get involved with this, and I'm a chef. And I'm going, mate, I don't know how to cook. Can you teach me how to whisk an egg? Because I've got no clue. And he goes, yeah, sure I can. Shame I can't be with you. I'll go, oh, hang on, you can be. Goggles, Mark. He'll show me how, how to hold the bowl. That's a cooking experience. Or a racing driver. I was speaking to a racing driver in America. I'm going, should we do some games together? He's going, that's a great idea. Let's do a simulator. So you just put your goggles on. He's in the simulator. I'm in the simulator. I'm in England. He's in California. Drive his car around. Great. I've just had Asphalt 8 call me today saying, we want to do a competition. How can we get you involved? And I'm going, why don't I just do a commentary and watch some people driving, a bit like a YouTube video? But imagine if we could do it in VR. And they're going, what giveaways can you do? And I'm going, well, why don't I give them tokens and NFTs? Because that's what they like, right? So it's kind of opening the imagination of what we can bring to the adult as well as the younger generation's world. But what can we bring that brings commercial, entertainment, educational systems that are not restrictive? Hey, I'm going to be one guy out of a million billion people doing the same as me. I don't care. I'm just trying to do what we like doing in a way that's really acceptable, that probably integrate with everybody else. And we're going to start with what we know, which is cars and a cool building and any products that we enjoy. So the first products we start off with non-fungible tokens, non-copyable tokens, as I call them, which is some pictures of cars. It's really simple. And we didn't make 10,000 mints. We did it all on our own platform. And we also did, my cats are fighting, sorry. And they also, we also just made it very simple, only 7 products, rather than doing so many characters. What's going to come next? Probably outfits. I don't know. But we're working on it every day. It's like, should we try this? Should we try that? And the biggest challenge is getting the portal and servers connected. I think we've solved that now. Hope that's interesting for you. Hope that's entertaining. I'm loving each day because we can integrate other creative people and learn a bit more about what's going on in the technology. As Mr. Valtteri Bultin from Ethereum says, and I say, the technology decides the culture as much as the culture decides technology. So we're in this kind of melange. We don't know where it's going to go, but that's helpful.
Yeah, oh, absolutely helpful. And thanks for sharing. Like, there's so many things I can, dig deep into to ask you so many questions. But I'm going to take it piece by piece. I mean, I heard you once say that you have a project going on in the gaming side, Asphalt, correct? How's that coming up, and what's the integration from that to the metaverse? Do you have like something that crosses the platform from your gaming assets?
They haven't worked it out yet, and we
Okay.
out yet. But essentially, at the moment, the way it works is you can drive my car in the game, or experience, call it, somewhere. You can drive it around the city, and we probably do some speed restrictions and some sort of kind of, like in the real world, restrictions around its performance. And then, excuse, my cats are so argumentative. Stop waiting. Oh, just storm, calm before the storm. Cats are arguing. So that is what it is.
Right.
Only on Zoom, hey. So yeah, when they found that we were doing what we were doing, they said, "Well, how do we get involved with you now?" They might be able to do it through a portal link, but for the short term, what we're going to do is advertise on our billboards for them. That's the easiest thing. So you can drive our cars normally around the city, an AFX, an AF10 or AF8. Then you can take them to a racetrack where you can drive fast with certain restrictions and rules on there, which is making it more usable and sensible. Or you'll have a portal linked to Asphalt 8, which is Gameloft Games. And that's where you can do all your crazy stuff, the drifting and smashing and everything else. So I'm trying to keep our sort of experience more realistic and more sensible, just in our little bit. It doesn't mean other places can't. So we had a guy called Rene Pardo from Canada. He likes this whole thing. He likes two things about us: quality and the story. So the story and quality in the story. I'll say again. it's to do with trying to get that message out there, like a Star Wars movie, or like we've just been watching Boba Fett. It's so well done, and the story is so wonderful that you really engage with it. So, we're trying to do our thing. It doesn't stop him. He wants to build his own city near ours so that he can engage with us, with his own world. But we just started off with our thing, and then everything around it is for anybody to express themselves. They can put bigger buildings, Malibu beach huts, or industrial buildings, whatever. In our little world, it will just be, that's how we're doing it over here. Welcome. But the next bits around it can be whatever anybody else wants to do. And that's the whole thing with the digital world. It's like the universe. It's infinity. So it doesn't mean we're restrictive.
So Arash, it means it's great that at least you're figuring something out in that direction. We at XposureNow, we have an in-house project, and we're going to be working on something like that, and in our own metaverse. So we're definitely want to have Arash Motors as the first motor cars in our own metaverse. So we'll definitely get to that. And I just want to, I'm going to ask you just one more question, but before we do that, I want to quickly take this time to acknowledge Vladimir Smirnov. And Vladimir is one of our partners at XposureNow from a company called LeadsLink. So if you'd like to connect to Vladimir, you can reach out to him on LinkedIn, or reach out to him through me, and I'll definitely make that introduction. And with that said, Arash, why did you start with the Arash coin? I'd like to know. I'm really interested in that.
Oh, because I knew no one would copy that name, or I wouldn't get into trouble with anybody. It's as simple as I couldn't call it like Tron or Quark or Zoom. Definitely no one's going to have an Arash coin.
And you mentioned,
it's interesting because,
yep, go ahead.
I'm probably one of the few characters that has a token that's like, you can speak to me. I'm not hiding. It's like, I do cars, I do experiences. This is like what I do. I'm very accountable and very visual and visible. You can communicate with me. Okay, I do have 100 staff that are avatars. You can see that on my website. So all my staff for Aracom, they're not real. They're all humanoid, so I program them to say what they need to say. I have had them arguing with each other as well, which is quite entertaining. But yeah, that's the very first sort of total digital virtual. Even the staff are virtual, so I thought that was really cool to do that. So I can send my messages out there. So Sharon's our CEO, and I just speak into my phone, and it goes to the program, and she speaks. It's insane. So she tells a story about what's going on in Naracom, you know, what we bought, what's happening when the tower's doing this, and it's like and then every week you get an update, and there's like a news anchor called John Gold, and he talks about what's going on the planet, you know, what spaceship's taking off. Hey, it's a bit like Earth, right? Yeah, I've got a cat with me again.
Yeah, that's all right. We're pet friendly. Okay, so Arash, you built your own blockchain. You know, what was the hassle with that, and how's that been going? What's been the how have you been able to integrate that to the marketplaces that we have today?
Well, we kind of did the easiest, fastest, simplest, no messing around way, which was you buy into it with fiat, and then in return you get a receipt with a code on it, like an email. That kind of stays as our sort of gold standard stable thing, and as an ability to start trading and making it so it's like to the norm. We release a token on the Ethereum chain because that's what everybody wants, and that satisfies. So everybody gets 2 bites of the cherry. They get the stable coin, the Arash coin, on our own chain, our own peer-to-peer payment, and without any protocols that cause any lagging. But they also have the ability to have something in Ethereum, which is, you know, it's a system at the moment. I know Ethereum 2 is going to be faster, but we're not going to wait. We just do our own. And it seems to be going very well. People like it. They like the opportunity to be part of it, part of our system. It allows people to feel like they've made an investment in some way, you know, and it's the first time that people could get involved in what I'm doing. 22-year-old car company, you know, not many people can afford to buy the cars. And you know what? It takes a lot of energy to make these cars, as well as it takes a lot of energy to bring products into the medtech sector. We serve, you know, thousands of people every day. And I know how expensive and energy inefficient it is to bring stuff from India and China, and you know, and then consume it. It's just insano. So the digital world is very exciting because you're able to express yourself, have fun, participate without the most stupid consumption of goods and energy. And I think that's a great thing. So rather than buying 20 pairs of trainers, you can buy 20 digital ones. That's really cool. You know, I was cleaning out my garage. I was going, whoa, wow, I haven't used that for ages. I'll stick to digital for the next.
The only disadvantage with the digital one is that I'm not going to be able to race you with the digital one. I'm going to have to race you with the real ones. So the only disadvantage with the digital ones is I'm not going to be able to race you with the digital ones. Only if we do that in the metaverse. I'm only going to have to race you with the real ones.
Oh, you can race me in the digital world in any car. That's the best thing about it, and it's safe.
Okay. All right.
You're probably, you know, you might get a better experience out of it because you're going to have an instructor. You can have sort of autonomous driving experience as well. So you're only concentrating on the thing you want to concentrate on. So instead of worrying always about your speed, you just worry about your turning points. And so you set the system to say, I'm just going to go as fast as I can, but all I'm going to be learning about is my turning points. And you're going to have the visual characteristics of where to go. And you probably get feedback on the steering wheel. And you can hire a really cool racing driver to driving for you. You know, if I'm on track, I'm never, ever. I've got driving. I've always got the next to me. They go, do you want to drive? No, you drive. You're way better than me. And I just sit there. You know, it just shows me what in all my car, any car I'm driving, whatever, and somebody else's car, some other car companies. I love being with the pro drivers. They're so much better than me. It's like being on a roller coaster ride. And it's the same thing with the digital world. You don't have to do all the driving. You might get somebody who teach you how to drive. Same with tennis. You know, if you want to learn how to have a better stroke, you've got the systems now to play tennis and show exactly where the stroke needs to go, and you can have some sort of robotic device attached to it to say, look, you're bending your racket wrong, and you feel it, you get the feedback. You may not even need to be a mechanical structure. You could use just haptic feedback through your handles on your Oculus 2s. It's pretty realistic now, I have to admit.
Interesting. Wow. Thank you so much, Arash. That was an absolutely phenomenal share. We did really enjoy everything about the Arash Motor Company. I think it's just, spectacular, and it's also highly commendable. And we do think you're an incredible person. And thanks for joining us in this share.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're going to be.
Cool.
Oh, definitely. The network is it's not really going so smoothly, and this is because we're having a snowstorm currently as we speak in Toronto. It's actually a blizzard here, so I've been in and out of the meeting a couple of times, and that's just to show you that we're going to be having more of this, and Metaverse is the way to go, because there's no way I'm going to be going to an event when there's a snowstorm, not the way we have it right now. So with that said, I would like for us to pin, I did send, the links to your website and to the arashes.club to the chat box, but if you'd like us to pin that up on the screen, we could do that shortly. And, we would have to be bringing the meeting to a close. So with that said, I'm just going to yield the mic for a few seconds to get over the chat box to see what questions that we have for you from the audience, and we'll be asking you that. So if you're just going to give me 10 seconds, I'm going to be in the chat box and retrieving the messages. Thank you.
By the way, I managed to switch the computer on if there's still a slot, but up to you.
Is that Martin?
Yes, that was Martin.
Oh, awesome. Okay. All right. With that said, we're going to be yielding the mic right now to Martin. We're just going to have Martin give it a share before we bring the session to a close. So please stick around, everybody. We're going to have like one more 5-minute window to go around questions, and for people who would like to clarify whatever they would like to, you can bring that to the chat box and present it to all the speakers. So we have Sam from GiveTree, we have Kristaps from Terra Waste, NGO and Sustainable Development. We have Arash from Arash Motor Company, and we have Martin Kubrick from the Akasha Metaverse, who's about to go right now, and is going to do a brief presentation of what he has, for us today. I'd also like to give a shout out to Tina Baywalk, and Tina is about to leave right now because she has another event. She's part of the XposureNow team, and she's our very faithful event organizer and event producer alongside the other team members. So we do really appreciate Tina for joining in. She might already have left, but this is just to do the honors and share our appreciation to Tina. So with that said, we're going to be going over to the chat box now. Okay, sorry, we're going to be going over to Martin. So Martin, if you'd like to share, now is your time. Please take the stage. And Dodja, please, could you please pin Martin to the screen so we can have him share? Thank you.
Hi guys. I know you asked me to change the background, but I just didn't figure it out. So here we go.
No worries, brother. Yeah.
So I don't have the screen, but I would like to have the screen, maybe if possible, please.
Sure. We're gonna make you co-host right now. You can share.
Yeah. So my name is Martin Krupik. I was born in Czechoslovakia. I live in London. I'm a designer, artist, and together with people, we came up with this idea last year. Like all of you, it kind of makes sense to build a place for people to convene, communicate, right? So now
Martin,
all of you.
I think you have, sorry to interject you, brother. I think you can share your screen right now.
Oh, can I? Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So I'd like to just show you this quick video, basically.
Awesome.
And maybe show a little bit of the metaverse. This is just the visual representation of what I would like to talk about. So
that is absolutely phenomenal, Martin. I was enjoying it. Yeah, I do like it. I like it. Where's the one with the lady? I'm sure we're gonna really love that one as well. Do you still have that one?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it up right now.
All right, thanks, brother.
I'm gonna take you to a little tour on our V2. So the V1 was done by me in Unreal Engine, and it served as an inspiration because we have a senior Unreal Engine developer. Oops, that wasn't the button I wanted to press. Okay, so I'll go there again. Okay, where we are focusing, we're focusing on sustainability and education, how we want to create these venues, right? We're also going to have entertainment and all sorts of things. We're going for more like dystopia type, and we are in Europe, and we are networking with architects, 3D scanning, 3D services, and essentially positioning ourselves as a metaverse build a metaverse service. So my company, Import Analytics, has been around for quite a while. We started with import and export, then we focused on CGIs, and then from CGIs, I went to doing more craft after I resigned a very intense project where I got fed up with the greenwash, okay, as a sustainability consultant. So that project was amazing. Let's move on. Present time. I'm fulfilling some kind of dream. I kind of envisaged something like these pods moving around that people come together when I was about 20. Never imagined I'll be building games 20 years later. Here we are. And I think I would like to try and run it. I'm just trying to multitask a little bit here. Just gonna quickly go back into the thing. And yeah, you know, we're just another metaverse, just started maybe like you a little early, and we want to connect, collaborate. We want to create portals in between the metaverses, so offer line to other metaverses, drive people to other places. What is not in our metaverse can be in another metaverse. Likewise, we are building different games that are in the pipeline. One of them is like an underground villain game with cars where people can do all sorts of things, basically. And we are going for more sophisticated crowd. I would say we're going 21 plus at the beginning. So we were not focusing on just driving people in and getting them addicted and all that. We want to attract educational, scientific, you know, we want to be providing experiences that you otherwise cannot have. Like, for example, experience a fire or an argument with me when I'm really pissed off. You know, in real life, it may be really scary, but in a VR, you can switch it off and you can learn how to deal with Martin, maybe, you know. Then what we are bringing is flow state. It's our proprietary technology. It's with AI and NLP. It has been developed initially with athletic teams. So this is something where we will be increasing efficiency of people, and we were going to be using the metaverse as a test bed for the flow state. So essentially, what we are offering is state-of-the-art presentation and advertising, but we will only advertise within our ecosystem. We will not we will not do data mining, and we want to encourage everybody for freedom of expression following guidelines. So yeah, I believe that it's going to be a particular type of metaverse that's going towards spiritual enhancement and attracting ways to educate about the Sumeria and beyond, and different skills, and really look at it as an opportunity to bring fresh education, something like that, you know. So that's what the Unreal Engine and Web3 is allowing us. Yeah, we're minting on Ethereum. We're launching our project on the 22nd of February on many places. You can see my Twitter, Mart Krupik, or just look up Akasha GL. So we're going to be rolling out the land titles, and we're starting with the Akasha City. We're doing like a soft launch, guerrilla marketing. We're growing organically. We have some funding. We're mostly self-funded with small seed funding. Now we've been approached by many VCs, everything. We will get there at some point. We will release V3 that will see the different functions like chat and everything. I'll try and quickly switch this thing on. And that's about it from me. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
So we don't have it on the screen yet, brother. Will you share your screen?
I'm trying to get there, and I think I am here. So obviously we've got a video, slightly different one at the beginning of it. Yeah, this is just to show where we are. So this is what we've got. This is one of our avatars, and this is quite a typical Unreal Engine environment. This is kind of the platform at the top. Yeah, it doesn't look like much. Okay, so from here you are going to, this is in VR, you're going to teleport yourself, right? Okay, let's teleport. Here she is. And this is to kind of get you introduced to the environment. You can see the rendering. Right now, my issue is that we can look up the hair skirt. So I don't know how that's gonna go. And they made her like relatively a little bit too, you know, but why not? The sword probably is going to disappear. I'm not too happy with it. This is not the kind of, anyways. So you see, we terraformed the planet. We put the oxygen in there. We've got these sources of water. It's a particularly funky planet. And so this is for us to talk to our community about what they want to see. So pretty much we seem to be on the same page. And so this is what a typical land plot would look like. Yeah. This is an FBX. This is a smaller size plot. It can be built outside and brought into the game by you. This is obviously going to happen on the V3. And there's some quests. There's a character building, and we are going for proof of attendance and proof of competence so that the community can then vote. So this is something quite interesting. We're going for play to learn, and obviously play to earn as well. There will be some ways for people to enter and to be able to participate. Yeah, we are going for first player view. The avatar is going to go. you can see the kind of environment that you can expect. So like the Unreal Engine is amazing in terms of the reflections and stuff, and even what it allows us to do. And then yeah, she has to climb all the way down there somewhere for a seriously long journey. I'm going to show you something. This is the oxygen that we are pumping into the atmosphere. Okay, so it's breathable. And I guess this is the innovation. So everyone's trying to figure out how to use Unreal Engine. So here you are, and you simply go here and you go to a browser. So you are on our mood board. You can see the really crappy top. Yeah, that's there on purpose, so we don't forget to change it. And essentially, I would like to quickly show you what's capable in Unreal Engine on our platform. So you simply click the link. You can imagine you could be buying anything you want, right? And this is something that where we are going now with our V3. So this is obviously just a YouTube video that we've got there, but just have a quick look. This is only like a minute or two. Yeah, YouTube, hello.
So Martin, I'm really enjoying this because I totally understand where you're coming from with the Akasha Metaverse. So you're literally making it the Akashic record for the Metaverse. So that's what you're building for the Metaverse, if I understood.
Yeah, it's kind of
So,
like that. The whole idea came up with my
wow, that's
psychedelic and other
brilliant.
experiences, and then when I came to name it, it just makes sense. And now I'm getting different connections to like all the way to Atlantis. It's really strange that the logo I designed, when I asked the AI to design a logo, I designed exactly the same thing, and the lettering and everything. It's a journey. It's a journey. I tend to be realistic about things, but something's up. And essentially, yes, Akasha GL means also known as SHA, giving tribute to the blockchain or the ledger technology, and it's a graphic library. So we are a digital graphic library. So essentially
Absolutely
a multiverse where other metaverses can find their place. Where our aim is sustainability. We mean it. We will show it. We pledge not to sell the company and to obviously the proportion of the proceeds offset the tax, charity, and so on. But on top, we want to create the pools of philanthropy, and the metaverse will be a great place for people to vote on projects, you know, come up with ideas, and also we can build games together. We can build all sorts of things. We can do a lot of things together in different metaverses. I believe the metaverse is one big family already, and I'm so excited about all the future connections and how we are going to collaborate. Yeah, so this is where we are going with it. Something like you were saying, guys, on the test run, where our roadmap is Ready Player One 5 years time. Basically, that's where we're going. We are anticipating some good things this year. The alpha maybe this year, we're now considering which direction to go, because we already have the planetary game built where you learn languages, but we don't want to monetize on it. So the game with the planets is coming later, and then we want to introduce the ether realm where it will be special. So we are attracting professionals, artists. We are attracting everybody. Like all sentient beings are welcome, and we are non-religious, non-political. We aim to unite all people, cultures, religions in a fusions of science, arts, and tech. So that's pretty much. I mean, I could talk about this endlessly, but you know now from me enough. I recommend HTTPS. Somehow the SSL is not working without it. Akasha.gl to register on the Discord. There's going to be a whitelist soon. We welcome strategic partnerships, and we are creating right now a business art design marketplace where essentially companies can hire someone, see what they are doing in the metaverse, and hire them on the NFTs. Then we are bringing the AI system, and we are following to build AGI. So we are building Gaia. Her name is Gaia, and it's a short for generative artificial intelligence autonomous. She will be our NPC and help us with the space. I don't see how else we can manage this this place, meta space, without an AI. So that's how I see it. Also, I'm a person who likes to go and spend time in nature, and I love technology. So I'm not aiming to become a robot. I'm not a transhumanist or anything like that. I personally like to use technology, so I'm not afraid of using AI and technology. I personally don't believe they will rule us. Maybe they will survive us. Yes, I don't know. This is altogether yet another fantasy. And this is what this planet needs. It needs people like you. It needs these digital spaces to take it to the next level, to enhance everybody and to create an opportunity to make a paradise on Earth. And we feel it. All of us feel it. It's going up to the next level. Our biggest ambitions are to build a space vessel to leave the solar system. But before we do so, we want to make the Earth a little more beautiful, focusing on conservation, education, and so on. So please hold me accountable in future what I said today. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, Martin. We've absolutely enjoyed your sharing, your presentation. I'm definitely sure a lot of people would like to collaborate with you. We can already see Sam from GiveTree, saying that I would like to, collaborate and get on some things together. We have other people in the chat box really who think what you're doing is absolutely amazing, and we'd like to also extend our appreciation for you joining us today. So with that said, we didn't quite get so much questions wrapped up in the chat box. I guess you just got everyone amused, and we're just more interested in what you're going to be bringing to the marketplace really soon. So if you'd like to connect more with Martin, you can connect with Martin on LinkedIn and on his social handles, but I'm sure LinkedIn will be the right way to go for professional communication. And you might be able to get his email sent, and you might be able to get his email and send him an email or whatever. So I would really like to bring the attention to everyone who's been a part of this meeting today. We do acknowledge you, and we do really appreciate the fact that you've taken time out of your schedules to be with us today. This is our first episode in the Tech Into the Pandemic event. We're going to be having some other events in 3 weeks from now, and we're going to be having more events every 3 weeks. So with that said, thanks for joining us at XposureNow. You can connect with our LinkedIn company page at XposureNow Technology. You can visit our website at www.exposurenow.org. Our social media handles on Instagram is at XposureNowTech. On Twitter, which is fairly new, we just birthed it about a week ago or less, it's at XposureNow. So XposureNow is a technology and innovation management company. We connect people through technology, innovation, and community for impact and sustainability. We have 4 major categories in our offerings for our unique value proposition. We have XNow, which brings you the event, the communication, and media. We have Extraction for portfolio management, fundraising, and investment opportunities. We have X Analytics for data, ML, AI, and product and software development. We have X Spaces, which is our in-house incubator and accelerator, and in-house studio, where we build and develop our own products before we bring them to the marketplace. So XposureNow is also open to collaborating with everyone in the audience and the speakers, and we will be in touch. And with that said, we'd like to bring this meeting to a close. So if we're going to give one more round and allow anyone to share a question or ask a question rather, and if we don't have that in the chat box anytime soon, we're going to be bringing this meeting to a close.
I would really like to meet up with anybody who wants to meet up and collaborate and share my notes. I'm not looking for your notes. I'm looking forward to forging good partnerships for the future. It's a wild west out there. We need friends.
Agreed. Keen to meet.
All right, thanks everyone. This has been an absolutely amazing time. It turned out better than we expected, and we'll definitely be back to host some more events and invite you in and also connect you to our community and our ecosystem of investors, partners, and developers as well. So thanks Arash, thanks Sam, thanks Martin, thanks Kristaps. We do really appreciate you, and thanks to everyone who's been in the audience. I do recognize everyone and acknowledge everyone's time. We have Kenny Jackson Forrest here, who's also a very good friend of mine and also in the space. And we're looking to bring things out to the marketplace very soon. So stay tuned, everybody. And we also have another Arash here, who's also a friend of mine and from Toronto. So we're just using this to round up, for today. It's been an absolutely amazing session, and we'd love to have you guys over to join us again. So with that said, cheers everybody, and till next time, keep the fire burning, keep the metaverse blowing. We definitely will connect. We're going to bring our own metaverse out soon at XposureNow, and we're definitely going to connect all these small virtual spaces or small metaverses into our own major ecosystem, our own major metaverse, where we can have the Arash guys driving everywhere, we can have Gift Tree lands, we can have the Akasha metaverse, and everyone's just going to be interchanging and crossing different platforms through different portals. With that said, stay warm, everyone, and take care from wherever in the world you're calling in from today, tonight. And thank you again. It was absolutely a fun time having everyone. Cheers now. Bye.